Good morning. It's March 21st, the first day of spring. I'm actually walking to the Italian Star Deli, but I'm going to take a roundabout route to get there, just to extend the walk a little bit, starting from the condo buildings here where the old Central Collegiate used to be, where we have a condo. That cherry picker's been down there for a couple of days. I don't know what they're doing, working on balconies, I guess. So Italian Star Deli is up on Victoria Avenue, but I'm going to go down College to start with and then kind of zigzag my way up and around the General Hospital, which is this big hulking presence in the middle of that neighborhood. You have to get around somehow before I get to the Italian Star Deli, where I'm buying some cold cuts and cheese for a wine tasting event tonight. So I won't live stream my walk back from there when I'm carrying that, but this seemed like a good opportunity to walk in a slightly different area. And it's not that different. I have walked in this neighborhood before, obviously. There's the college building over there. Across the way here is the soundstage building, also home to Creative Saskatchewan, which has given me grant money and for publishing. And Sask Books, the publishing association that I'm vice president of. And speaking of publishing, I got more Kickstarter stuff to do. I also recorded a podcast episode this morning with a debut YA author named Jared N. Michaud. At least that's how I pronounced it. It's French. It's the soundstage building over there. And then when I get to wherever I'm going, eventually, this afternoon, I will be working on the Kickstarter for Shapers of Worlds Volume 5. The next one featuring authors who are guests on the podcast. Hello, Stefan. You too. This, of course, is College Avenue. We'll go up to the lights. We'll go across one block and then start zigzagging in whatever fashion I can, which is not too much because of the General Hospital. But we'll go around the General Hospital and eventually get down to Italian Star Deli. There goes a police car. He at least doesn't think I have a radar gun, presumably. I think some drivers probably do when they see this. So maybe I help slow them down. I've been in this apartment building over here, but it's an old one and probably quite nice. These old houses are both businesses now. This one was redone just a few years ago. It looks much nicer than it used to. This one at one point had a coffee shop in it, which I kind of miss. Now they do computer repair, I think. Yeah, computer clinic, it says. Website and email hosting. I suppose people use local hosts. My first one was actually a local one, WBM. Western Business Machines was my first email provider and website host. I always like this building, kind of a Spanish look to it. Never been in those apartments either. I don't know how nice they are, but the outside it always seems to be well taken care of. Once I've gone to Italian Star Deli and picked up my cold cuts for tonight, I'll be writing or working on my Kickstarter somewhere. There still is a coffee shop over there, I think, but I haven't checked it out for a long time. The old St. Chad's Theological Seminary grounds over here, and all of that land, I think, at one point belonged to the Anglican Diocese, and some of it still does. Okay, I've often walked along College Avenue, but I don't very often dip up to the north here into this neighborhood, so that's what we'll do today. Technically, Italian Star Deli is Let me think. I think it's in the first block. So it's technically straight up Osler here. But I'm going to, as I said, stretch this out a little bit by continuing to venture to the east. Some of the old diocese buildings. I used to know the fellow who lived in this house. I don't think it's a house anymore. It was really nice, and it still looks very nice. He was a music director for a number of musicals and operettas I was in my earlier days in the 90s. My heyday of doing that sort of stuff when I used to do 3 shows a year some years. I am, of course, doing Beauty and the Beast coming up, playing Maurice. As I said to someone, classic alley. As I said to someone, when did I start playing old guys? I still think I should be able to play the young lead characters. And apparently directors don't see me that way. Can't imagine why. Older houses mostly through here. Always a few new ones have been built. But generally speaking, the sidewalks look clear, which is good. Not too icy. Some of these are quite run down, and some are quite well kept up. Here's a bit of ice. Looking back, so that's Broad Street over there where that big condo building is. See, these are actually new ones. Not overly grand, but I don't think they're just rebuilt old ones. I think they're new ones. All right, we will zig to the right. There's also a few old apartment buildings over in this neighborhood, like that one. I continue my extending my walk attempt here. There's a house for rent over there. Very handy to the hospital. There's actually an empty lot kitty corner from where I started. That's going to become the new Ronald McDonald House, which is where generally families of children undergoing cancer treatment, I think it's mostly children, have a place to stay while their kids are in the hospital. So it's very, Avalon Court is that old apartment building. Very handy to the hospital, as you'll see, because there it is. So that's all the walk it took to get here. Now, I don't really want to go down this side of the hospital, so I'm going to stay on 15th here. Go down the far side of the hospital. Which you can see, big sprawling place that has, various wings, a really old central part, then a lot of newer ones that have expanded as they've expanded it. Parking is always a pain. This 15th Avenue entrance basically takes you to doctors' offices. Sort of in this part here, there's a number of doctors. There's also a psychiatric section. I think it's over this way too. And you can see it rises back there. Not exactly a unified architectural appearance by any means. There used to be a church on that corner. I remember it was still there when I did historic walks of Regina and Moose Jaw. It was torn down a few years ago now. And the parking lot is always full. It's always a pain parking if you have to go to the hospital here. Well, this is also the maternity ward. Of course, our daughter was born in this hospital. It would have been up in this wing, I guess, somewhere up there. Almost 23 years ago now, since 23rd birthday is coming up. You can see all the street parking is taken too. There's also down here a nice little courtyard space. Nice, or not nice this time of year, but in the spring it's a nice little courtyard place. I'll go around this lady with her baby there. As if they got outdoor furniture that's all covered up and wrapped up right now. But once the trees leaf out, that's a nice little space down there. Morning, Kirk in Vancouver. Hope it's warmer there than here. I don't know the exact temperature. It was minus 11, I think, when I got up. Going to a high of minus 3, so it's probably minus 5 or 6 at the moment. Feels like about that. Now, I can't go down this side very handily. More of the loading area here. But the next street, I think, will take us down past this far end of the hospital. Again, lots of older houses down here. Some of them very well kept up, some not so much. Like that one that's all boarded up over there. Looks like it's not long for this world. That one too. Yeah, and this was all torn down. I don't remember what was here. Should I go all the way down to Winnipeg? I don't think I need to go to Winnipeg. Winnipeg Street. Yeah, I have no memory of what was here. An old apartment building, I think, maybe? Maybe we'll go down one more block because there's a business down there. Delivering you quality intentional spaces designed to embrace innovation, provide opportunities, and urbanize communities, whatever the heck that means. I think that's actually a new one on that corner. So, yeah, whatever's here, it's not there anymore. I do remember this building. It was an apartment building. I think it was white. Very kind of old and run down. It's really run down now. Not just run down, but torn down. Oh, I guess if I go a little further, I go by the brew pub that's down here. The Hampton Hub. Pizza, coffee. That must be where the good smells are coming from because I'm kind of hungry. Sheer Sass, so that's a hairdressing place. And then, of course, Hemp Haven. Right, my niece used to live in that apartment building, and right across from it down here is a... well, let's go one more block so we can walk by the brew pub. Then I'll start working my way back. Ow. Yeah, so she used to live in that building. They have a house now with their... well, she's not a baby anymore. She's a toddler. Getting up for being a little kid, if there's a difference. But you know what I mean. School age. Ow. Suddenly I've got something biting my foot and my shoe. It's pebbled or something. Multinational here is a brew pub. Local brewer. They make pretty good beer. Been in there a few times. Well, let's see. I guess we'll stick to the street. If I went one more block past this, I'd be at Winnipeg Street. But I don't feel the need to go that whopping extra block. So we'll turn left here. Also, I'm more likely to have walked along Winnipeg than down this way. Whatever that is, it keeps finding ways to poke my toe at random intervals. The smaller house is here. There had been quite a bit of new building in parts of this neighborhood because of the need for housing for around the hospital. And in general, well, there's a couple of new ones over there. I just feel the neighborhood has improved since maybe even when I walked through it at doing the historic walks of Regina and Moose Jaw. I mean, there's still houses that clearly are. That one doesn't even have a front step, so I don't know if anybody's in there or not. But quite a few of them are recently painted and or recited. They are very small and close together in this neighborhood. This one's been repainted, but you don't have a lot of space on either side. I don't know how big the yards are behind them. That apartment building rising to our right, I always think of as the lunchbox building because it has what looks like a handle on top of it. As if a giant could pick it up and carry it away like a lunchbox. It's hard to see through the trees, but it'll get clearer here as we get a little closer. There you can kind of see it. The lunchbox building. I don't know what they really call it. I don't even know what it is. I guess it's apartments, but to me, it will always be the lunchbox building. Okay, I'll check how much of a thoroughway we have here. You can't drive, I don't think, down 14th very far because you run into the, ow, it's really annoying, whatever that is in my foot. But on foot, I can go further. Let's see these people stop. I'm not even sure what this is. Is this the new... Oh yeah, this replaced an old swimming pool that was torn down or dug out. What do we do with those swimming pools? Very recently. Not a lot of swimming going on in it at the moment. And playground. There's the pool. Outdoor pool, obviously. Well, let's go through this little park here. There's the lunchbox building. The pool. Not a lot of water, but a lot of ice. Well, that'll take me out of my way, so I'll go this way. It's like pretty new playground equipment, too. We'll see what the name of this park is when we get to the corner here. All the parks have these blue... Oh, there's some fairly new ones over there, too. Part of the newer housing built in here not that long ago. Maple Leaf Park, I guess. It's Maple Leaf Pools. Makes sense this would be Maple Leaf Park. Now, there's a path here. Got a lot of ice on it. Not very attractive. We'll keep going this way back towards the hospital. Yeah, I remember when all of these were being built. This new housing in here. Certainly if you were a nurse at the hospital or someone else who worked there, this would be a very handy place to live. In playground zone. I can speed up now. Go more than 30 kilometers an hour. Which seems painfully slow in a car, but you can't run that fast, so it's all relative. Toronto Street. All the streets over here are named after cities. Halifax, St. John, Toronto, that sort of thing. Ottawa. Now, shall I take a pass this way? Maybe. Done it before. Or I can go on down this way. Maybe I'll go down a little bit further because there's a car coming. Once he goes by, I can think about crossing. There we go. I guess if I go... It's amazing how you can trip over what looks like nothing at all. This will take me to emergency, which clearly is not necessary. Although, had I tripped back there, and I think I'll walk down by the emergency entrance. That's all big parking lot, so we'll keep going this way. Had I tripped there, being that close to the emergency would have been helpful. Only fallen once this winter. Once is enough. I went down hard, but didn't hurt anything. On the ice. Every year I'm somewhat taking my life in my hands when I do these walks to entertain my vast army of sometimes dozens, I tell you, of viewers. I hope you appreciate all that I do for you. Buy a book. That'd be the way to thank me. Buy a lot of books. Buy hundreds of books. Even better way to thank me. Okay, school coming up over there. We'll go left here. This will probably only be about a half hour, even though I stretched it out quite a bit by coming this way once we get to Italian Star. So this is 13th Avenue, where it looks on this end of this side of Broad Street. It must be well, I don't know. There were other schools that had these round gyms. But back when I did Prairie Opera School tours, 30 years ago now, I remember performing in a round gym, and it was just horrendous from a singing point of view. The echoes were just awful. Really, really noisy space. There's kind of a view of the hospital unencumbered by anything except cars in front of it. The main entrance, that's the emergency entrance there. And the main entrance, if you're coming as a patient, is kind of around the corner to the right. It's where you would go to, take a number and wait to be called and go for wherever you're going. I haven't been in there for a while. Most of my tests and stuff have been at Pasqua Hospital, which I really rarely walk by because it's not a very pedestrian-friendly area. There used to be some old nurses' residence here. I remember one was still there years ago and we rehearsed in it. But as you can see, they've torn something down in the corner. Is that the building I remember? I don't know. 13th. If we go that way, we'll end up right on Victoria. So I think I'll go this way and come up the side streets toward Italian Star. We're only one block south of Victoria Avenue now. So probably they're just expanding the parking lot because, as I said, it's always a pain parking at the hospital. But there was a building over here at one point that's not there anymore. I distinctly remember it, an older building. Yeah, so the main entrance would be kind of right down that way if you were coming as a patient and not an emergency situation. This is St. John Street, as I said, all named after other Canadian cities. Oof. Still not the one we want to go up to Victoria, though. Yeah, Regina General Hospital Parkade. Oh, they're building an actual parkade, not just ground level. Well, that'll certainly expand the parking to everyone's relief. I'm gonna have to find somewhere to take off my shoe and dump whatever it is that keeps stabbing me before I conclude I'll conclude this walk. I still have to walk back to the condo from here, but I won't live stream that. Parking guy giving a ticket. I guess this is part of their parking too. Maybe it's staff parking. Halifax Street. This is actually the one we want to go up. Yeah, staff parking. This building here, well, it had a radio station in it, but it was actually built as a Hebrew school, if I remember my own book appropriately. There was a larger Jewish population at the time. Slate Art Gallery used to be in this building. Oh, now it says CJTR. As they moved in there, they always operated out of the old General Motors building. This would be a nicer place for them, for sure. I think this has doctors' offices in it now. Obviously, that entrance there is not original. Yeah, Regina Surgical Center, it says. So that's what it is now. I don't know what's in this building either. Boston Pizza Regional Office. Okay. This part had something, but the sign's gone, so I'd say it doesn't have anything. Perhaps some part of it. There are blinds and stuff here, so this is still something. Regina Work Preparation Center. Whatever that means. Here we are on Victoria Avenue. This was a vintage clothing place, but the sign's gone, so I guess they're going to be gone too. That building over there, I think it still has a print shop in it, but remember I said that was the Hebrew school back there. This used to be Beth Jacobs Synagogue. The first time I was in a production of Fiddler on the Roof, we actually came, it was still a synagogue, and we performed here. So. Okay, and this is the old Italian Star building. It was there forever and ever. Then they built this new one up here, and that's where I'm headed. So, maybe stop right here. And thank you for walking with me. That's it for today. Oh, hello. And goodbye.